You work tirelessly. Day after day, you pour your sweat, your time, your very soul into the grind. You save every penny, pay your taxes, follow every rule society swore would lead to a good life. And yet, your bank account, it barely flinches. Meanwhile, the rich, oh, they glide effortlessly upward, their wealth multiplying like a dark magic trick, even as the world around you crumbles. Jobs vanish, prices soar, hope fades. It's not just unfair, it feels rigged, doesn't it? Like the game was never meant for you to win. Welcome, my friends, to a truth most dare not whisper, a truth that cuts deeper than any blade. 500 years ago, a man named Machiavelli saw through the veil of this world. He didn't preach fairness, he didn't promise justice. No, he exposed something far more uncomfortable. Power has its own rules, and those rules, they don't care about your hard work, they don't reward your virtue, they favor those who see the game for what it is and play it without apology. Let's pause there. Breathe with me, because this isn't just a story, it's a revelation, one that might just change how you see everything. If you're feeling that spark of curiosity, that hunger to understand why the world works this way, hit that subscribe button. Join us on this journey to uncover truths that most will never dare to face. Now, picture this. You're taught from childhood that goodness leads to reward. Work hard, stay honest, and success will find you. It's a comforting tale, isn't it? A lullaby sung by schools, by parents, by every corner of society. But look around. The wealthiest among us, are they really the hardest workers? Are the most powerful always the most ethical? No. Too often, it's the opposite. The more you cling to the idea of a just world, the more you become a pawn in someone else's chess game. Machiavelli warned us, power doesn't bow to morality, it bows to strategy. The rich don't climb higher because they toil longer. They climb because they understand leverage. They know how to shape perception, how to bend rules without breaking them. Take a man like Jeff Bezos. His company, Amazon, raked in billions while paying zero federal income tax in some years. Not illegal, just strategic. A team of lawyers, a web of loopholes, a mastery of the system's hidden mechanics. That's not hard work. That's power. And here's the bitter truth. The system wasn't built to lift you up. It was designed to keep you running, chasing, believing that your effort alone will be enough. But effort without understanding, it's a treadmill. You move, but you go nowhere. The rich, they don't run, they build the treadmill. And while you're sweating, they're collecting the profits. This isn't about resentment, it's about clarity. Machiavelli didn't glorify cruelty. He simply held a mirror to the world and said, see it for what it is. The question is, are you ready to look? To stop blaming yourself for falling behind in a game you were never taught to play? If this truth resonates, if it stirs something deep within you, don't just watch, subscribe. Follow this channel for more revelations that will open your eyes to the world's hidden rules. Because once you see them, you can't unsee them. And that is where your power begins. The world doesn't announce its secrets, it buries them. Deep in the shadows of boardrooms, behind the polished smiles of leaders, within the quiet hum of systems you've been taught to trust. You've been told to work hard, to stay honest, to believe that fairness will prevail. But what if that belief is the very chain holding you back? What if the rules you follow were written to keep you in place while others dance above them? Let's travel back, not to Machiavelli's time, but further still, to a story from the ancient texts of wisdom, one that echoes his uncomfortable truth. In the Bible, there's a tale of a wealthy man who entrusted his gold to three servants. Two invested boldly, doubling their master's wealth. The third, cautious and fearful, buried his share to keep it safe. When the master returned, he praised the risk takers and cast out the one who played it safe. Perhaps, but it reveals a truth. The world doesn't reward caution or blind obedience. It rewards those who dare to act, to bend the game to their will. Now let's bring this closer to home. In today's world, the wealthy don't bury their gold. They multiply it, not through sweat, but through systems. Consider BlackRock, a name you might not hear in daily headlines, yet it wields more power than most governments. This investment giant holds stakes in thousands of companies, tech, healthcare, energy. They don't create products. They shape industries. They decide which businesses thrive, which ideas get funded, which voices get heard. And they do it quietly, without fanfare, because true power doesn't need a spotlight. It thrives in the dark. Pause for a moment. Let that sink in. You're not just competing against individuals, you're navigating a web of influence, woven by those who understand the game beneath the game. If this is striking a chord, if you're starting to see the invisible strings, hit that subscribe button. Join us as we unravel more of these hidden truths. Share your thoughts in the comments. What systems have you noticed shaping your life? Now let's shift to another tale, this time from the East. In Buddhist lore, there's a story of a monk who sought enlightenment through endless meditation, denying himself food, sleep, comfort. He believed suffering would bring him closer to truth, but the Buddha himself rejected this path. He taught that wisdom comes from balance, from seeing the world clearly, not from blind sacrifice. The monk's devotion was noble, but it blinded him to the reality that effort without insight is just pain. This is where Machiavelli's voice echoes again. He didn't ask you to abandon your values. He begged you to stop being naive. The wealthy don't win because they're smarter or more deserving. They win because they've learned the art of positioning. While you're taught to value labor, they're taught to value access. You clock in hours, they cultivate networks. You pay taxes with pride, they hire teams to rewrite the tax code in their favor. Warren Buffett once admitted he pays a lower tax rate than his secretary. Why? Because his wealth comes from capital gains, not wages. It's not cheating, it's knowing. And here's the part that stings. You weren't invited to that table. From the moment you stepped into a classroom, you were trained to follow, to obey, to believe that hard work would be enough. But the elite, they were taught something else. At private schools, in boardrooms, in quiet conversations, they learned how to shape narratives, move money, control belief. They don't need to work harder. They structure smarter. In 2021, giants like Nike and FedEx paid zero federal income tax, not because they broke laws, but because they mastered deductions, credits, loopholes, tools you were never taught to use. This isn't a flaw in the system. It's the system's design. It filters out those who don't ask questions, rewarding those who see the rules beneath the rules. If this truth is sparking something in you, don't just watch, subscribe. Follow this channel to dive deeper into the mechanics of power. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you've seen these systems at play in your own life, drop a comment. Let's build a community of those who refuse to stay blind. Because the moment you see the game, you start to play it differently. Not to become ruthless, but to stop being used. To protect your energy, your time, your soul. That's not just survival. That's the beginning of freedom. So you've seen it now. The game. The invisible strings pulling at your life, your work, your dreams. You've glimpsed the truth Machiavelli laid bare. The world doesn't reward goodness alone. It rewards those who see, those who understand power's quiet mechanics and refuse to be its pawn. But seeing isn't enough. The question is, what do you do with this clarity? How do you move forward in a world that wasn't built for you to win? This isn't about becoming someone else. It's not about abandoning your heart, your values, your decency. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to turn you into a villain. He wrote it to keep you from being crushed by those who already know the game. The rich get richer, not because they're better, but because they're awake. They see the levers of influence, money, media, belief, and they pull them without hesitation. You don't need to copy their ruthlessness. You need to copy their clarity. Start here. Stop measuring your worth by their rules. You were taught that success means wealth, status, a corner office, but what if success is something else? What if it's time? Time to live, to breathe, to love. What if it's dignity, the kind that comes from knowing you're no longer a gear in someone else's machine? Redefine what victory looks like. Not their version, but yours. Take a breath. Let that settle, because this is where your power begins. If this message is hitting home, if it's stirring something deep in your soul, hit that subscribe button. Join us as we uncover more truths to help you live with intention, not illusion. Share this video with someone who's ready to wake up, because clarity isn't just knowledge, it's freedom. Now, think about this. Every day, you're bombarded with messages, ads, news, policies telling you what's normal, what's right, what's possible. But who decides those messages? Not you, not me. The people shaping them are the ones who control the flow of belief. They don't need to force you, they just need you to agree. To keep working, keep consuming, keep believing the system will reward you if you just try harder. But you've seen through that now. You know the system doesn't need your success, it needs your compliance. So, what's next? You don't have to topple the system. You don't need to become a billionaire or a ruler. Sometimes the most radical act is to step back, to refuse to play a game that's rigged against you, to protect your energy, your focus, your peace. Be kind, but not naive. Be generous, but not at the cost of your soul. Learn to see the narratives around you, the ones that flatter you into obedience, that make you feel noble for staying in place. Machiavelli's final lesson wasn't about conquest, it was about survival. In a world of wolves, being too trusting can be your downfall. But you don't need to become a wolf to thrive. You just need to see them coming, to recognize when your goodness is being used, when your effort is being harvested. And when you do, you'll find something more powerful than wealth. You'll find sovereignty, the ability to live on your terms, to walk through the world with eyes wide open, to stand tall without chasing their applause. This is your invitation, not to play their game better, but to write your own, to move with purpose, not blind hope, to be awake, grounded, and unapologetically you. If this journey speaks to you, don't stop here. Subscribe, follow this channel for more truths that will light your path. Share your story in the comments. How are you breaking free? Because in a world built on illusion, clarity isn't just power, it's liberation, and that is worth fighting for.